Would you come with me to France? We could dance on the Champs-Élysées. Let's take a chance on amour.
Hey, good day. Welcome to Notes and Notions from the Writing Desk. I'm your host, Joanne de Simone, and I'm so happy to be back for the second show here at this beautiful new studio at LTV. And I want to thank LTV East Hampton for this opportunity and for always continuing the work of public access. It's very, very important. There are some wonderful shows here, and let's keep it going. And Jim and Carolyn Conlon, thanks for allowing me to play your beautiful song, Isn't That What Love Is For my theme song. And of course, it wouldn't be a day. I must send my good tidings and best wishes to Mr. Steven Spielberg, sitting on my desk always. Looking forward to introducing him to my Metro Cats and other interesting characters. I know it'll be the beginning of beautiful friendships. Also, a brief message on Amazon now, Inside Out Yoga, co-authored with Sandra Kay, and also on Amazon now, co-authored with Chaim Mizrahi. Everyone knows Chaim. He has Hello, Hello here, and he's also going to be doing a show the weekend of the 16th through the 18th. Beautiful art, and I am the guest speaker on Sunday, so looking forward to that. And again, you know, on our last show we had Bill Goldstein, and I must say I'm very happy to be back with you again for another show together. So I'll reintroduce you as lawyer turned sports executive turned humorist, and with lots and lots of wonderful stories. So you check out BillGoldstein.com, and also visit and listen to his amazing podcast called Not That You Asked. So the last time we were together, we kind of ended with Billie Jean King and how you got to work with her. So you'll find that story and many, many others in Skip the Funeral. It's a wonderful book full of essays, anecdotes, stories. So let's pick up on how you went from sports executive, you want to talk a little bit more about that, to humorist and your podcast and your blog and all the other things that you have out there.
Well, you know, I practiced law for a short period of time, and then I got into the sports business, eventually started my own company with a partner called Sports Etc., and we put on live events and we represented corporate clients for their participations in other people's events. We did that a long time, 30, 40 years.
What?
Over 1,000 events. And look, everybody's job has their own difficulties. The job of a promoter, especially somebody who's doing something live, is just, you know, a never-ending, nerve-wracking experience, because the slightest thing can dismantle a great event. You can work for a year on an event, you make one mistake, you go down the drain maybe. So I had just lost my zeal for it, and so I stopped. And people had been telling me, this is immensely immodest, but people had been telling me for a long time that I should stop hiring the talent and I should become the talent. That I had a lot of stories, and that sometimes the way I tell them is interesting, and blah, blah, blah. And anyway, eventually I decided at least to begin to think about that, and we
Explore it.
Yeah, and so if you go to BillGoldstein.com, you'll see
Yes.
all manner of content, videos and blogs, and the podcast is housed there as well as elsewhere. This book, Skip the Funeral, you can get it on Amazon.
Yeah,
but
I did. It's wonderful.
You can read the first
Yes,
the first
that's
chapter
available
of it.
on Amazon.
But you can read the first chapter of it
Right,
on the
okay,
website.
yes.
Then if you don't like it, you know what I mean, you don't buy it.
No, you're gonna like it.
Anyway, you know, it's been a good outlet. We're having some fun, and trying to stay on top of all these new platforms. You know, in days gone by, and even now, people say that content is king. Yeah. But and that used to be the case, but it isn't king anymore. I don't think. The platforms are now the king. Netflix is the king. All these social media platforms, they are the powerhouses.
Right.
However, they all need content. So content is no longer the king, but it's the kingmaker,
Right.
I think. Anyway,
Oh, that's a good way. Yeah,
that's how I think of it. And now, you know, every 10 minutes there's a new streaming service. There's a new platform. You know, people, you know, have heard, of course, of TikTok now, and they think that that's only for kids and dancing and so forth. No, there's a lot of demographics that
Really?
that have
That's
a silo
interesting.
of content on TikTok.
Yeah, I never.
And there's the latest and greatest is this Clubhouse.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us, what
Well,
is it?
I'm no expert,
Oh,
believe me,
yeah,
but I'm playing around with it. It's a new platform. If you haven't heard about it, you will.
Yeah.
Elon Musk, and what happens is that you join or you get admitted. You have to have an invitation from somebody else, but they're not hard to get. And you drop in on conversations or start your own conversations. And now guys like Musk and so forth are doing it, and they're attracting a couple of million people.
So where do you see that, on the internet or?
Yeah, well, yeah, you'd go to Clubhouse. Yeah,
You go to Clubhouse, just like
look-
YouTube,
yeah,
right?
just
Yeah.
look at Clubhouse
Wow.
on Google, and you'll hear the whole thing, and you'll hear about it more and more. Anyway, I'm having some fun.
You're on there.
I'm writing another book.
Yeah.
Which is more of a memoir. This is just a collection of blogs that I had assembled. But you know, if
Interesting.
you want to,
Very.
I'm doing a little speaking, yeah. And I used to hire speakers. And some of those anecdotes are in the book. If you're going to do speaking, you need a book. I have
Yeah.
a book. So,
Right,
so we
I
put this
know.
together from the blogs, and I think you find some interesting stories in it.
No, there are a lot of. Tell us more stories from here, or from what you plan on doing. I know that you have another book. Is that going to be done soon, or are you still?
Well,
in the
this one's more
process?
serious, so this one's taking a little longer.
This is.
And,
But
and-
does it include your early hippie lawyer days?
Yes,
and-
yes.
and-
It's the whole
and
ball of wax.
the
Yeah,
whole-
yeah.
the whole
It's a
thing.
memoir, but it's there is a difference between a memoir and an autobiography, and you got to have somewhat of a theme to it. But it's a serious book. This is semi-serious, and this I self-published. The other one I'm hoping to interest somebody.
To get the
more serious.
publisher.
But it's all right. You know, I'm.
Yeah, but I know-
and I'm doing shows like this and enjoying talking to people like you. So.
Yeah, no, thank you. But I know what you mean about having a book. One of my books there, The Metro Cats, that's actually was written to be an animated feature film.
There you go.
But a friend of mine in the business said, write the book. Make it a book first. So here we are, 10 years later with the book. But I always keep hope. But please tell us some more about. There were others that George H.W.
Well,
You
that's a
like
funny
him.
story. That's
Okay,
a funny
I'd
story.
love to hear that.
That's a
We
funny
lo-
story.
we love to hear that.
Yeah. Well, my company, Sports Etc., put on events for corporate clients. Some of them wanted big, fancy speakers. Ex-presidents are the fanciest of speakers that you can get.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
The test that you need for a speaker of that caliber is, do the guests want their photo on the mantle with them? Okay, because you're going to have a photo session of the guest getting a picture, but it's not going to be useful if they don't consider the person big enough to put. And the people who are coming to these events, they've been everywhere, they've done everything, so you got to deliver major talent. Ex-presidents always do the job,
Yeah,
but Jimmy Carter would never do this. He could have made a lot of money, and Clinton will do it. Bill Clinton. But he's not punctual, and you don't get a commitment from him until late, and then you can't promote it. So I never used Clinton.
No.
But Bush Senior, we had a couple of times, and he was terrific. And I had a client who wanted him. We had a big event that was being planned in California in the summer. Bush's son was president at the time, 43. We knew 41's people. We called, told them what the engagement was. We're prepared to pay whatever they needed. Well, no, they weren't going to California. Because Bush Jr. was in the White House, and it was summertime, and he sometimes came up to Kennebunkport in the summertime, and his father was not going to be in California. He was going to be in Kennebunkport. So I go back to the client, and to see the problem with CEO world is that they get so spoiled that they don't take no for an answer. And they generally don't have to accept no, because people go crazy making them happy, right?
Yeah.
So this CEO, I go back, I say, I report, we can't get Bush, he's not going to come to California. Oh, you got to make it happen, and you pull bunnies out of hats, and that's what you do, and da-da-da-da-da. And I had anticipated this, of course. And I said, look, the only way we can do it is if we move the event from California to Algonquin, Maine, where there's a great facility, not as nice as where we were, but nice enough.
Right.
And we're going to lose our deposit. It's going to be, it's going to be expensive to do this. But Bush is right up the drag. This place that I'm thinking of has a dock. He has a cigarette boat. I bet he would do the gig and drive his boat right from Kennebunkport to the resort, and we can get him.
Interesting, yeah.
So we do that. And now, when you engage ex-presidents, there's a site visit by the Secret Service.
Yeah,
before they arrive, of course. Not like they're the sitting president, but they have a detail, and they come to look it over. And they come in advance. I'm there, my partner's there, and they tell us that Bush is going to do exactly what I thought. He's going to drive the boat. He's going to be kind of blown all over when he arrives. He'll need to freshen up.
Right.
I say, well, that's fine. There's a gorgeous spa here. I'll reserve a treatment room. He can come and freshen up. He says, a treatment room? He said, no. You gotta close the whole spa. You can't have other people around other than your guests, which we're going to have secure otherwise. I said, the whole place, there's 30 treatment rooms here. And the whole morning. Anyway, you don't argue with him. You know what I mean? The guy's not going to negotiate with me.
No.
So we closed the spa. I said, anything else? He says he's punctual. He was supposed to be this was a breakfast meeting. He was supposed to be at the dock at 9:30. So I said, okay. He said, but sometimes he's early. Anyway, I was out there early. I hear about 9:15, the boat. He had a boat called the Fidelity.
The boat.
And it was a cigarette boat, and he was driving like a bat out of hell.
That's ironic.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
And he gets off the boat, and I'm greeting him. And I say, well, we got plenty of time now, but let me take you to the spa, and you can freshen up. He says, what are you talking about? I said, well, your detail told me that you needed a place to freshen up. We've closed the spa, and let me show you. You can relax for a bit and freshen up. He said, no. I said, I don't need to freshen up. I'm fine. Let's go do this.
Oh, yeah,
I said, well, Mr. President, we can't do that. They're in a board meeting. We're not due there for half an hour.
Oh.
I can't just walk in with you.
Right.
We gotta. He says, all right.
Oh.
Then
okay.
we'll get to know each other a little bit. He says. Says. You lead an interesting life. I lead compared to this guy. I lead an interesting life. He says, tell me a story. Well, it just so happened I had an interesting story to tell him, which was that on the night that he and Mrs. Bush had their first son, Effie and Harold Goldstein had their last.
Oh, yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
So he listens for a minute. He says, "Are you telling me that you were born on the same day as the president?"
Right.
I said, yeah. I said, "Do you happen to know what time of day it was?" He says, "No." He says, "But give me your phone." He says, "We'll call up Barbara."
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
So he does, and he asks her. He says, "I'm with a fella here. He's telling me he was born on the same day as George."
Yeah, July something.
Yeah, July 6th.
Yeah.
1946.
Right.
And I can hear her scolding him. He's asking her what time, and he doesn't remember, and she's scolding him for not remembering.
Oh, right.
He says,
I
"I
thought she
know, I
didn't
should remember. I remember. I'm sorry."
Oh, my
Anyway, he comes back. Long story short, I'm 6 minutes older, and
Yeah, right.
and Bush went on to give a great speech, and he did everything that we asked him to do.
He's a gent, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
He was a gent, and
Yeah.
I
first
always
rate.
said that if I was around during World War II and I met George Herbert Walker Bush,
Yeah.
I would have thrown Barbara down a flight of stairs to get to him.
Yeah.
I just thought that he was, a very good look. I always thought he was a good looking guy, but he had a lot more going for him.
Yeah.
So that's the president. Now, did you have anything to do with Bill Clinton? You just know that he was not.
Well, as I say, we tried to hire him a couple of
Yeah.
times, but we couldn't get a commitment. You know, if you're hiring and spending that kind of money, you need to promote it for it to do its job.
you need the
know?
commitment.
I mean, and the difficulty of these events, and in addition to organizing them all, which a lot of people don't realize, is the attendees.
Yeah.
Does the client get the people there
Right.
that they want?
They want.
Do they get the top people that they're spending all this money for? Or do they have to dip into the list and fill the event with people that don't mean as much to them?
Yeah, I hear
So
you.
the events that work are the ones that get the best people
Yeah, and
for
they're-
the client. And these are people who've done everything and been everywhere, and they're not
Yeah.
easy to get. Well, you deliver an ex-president, and they know that it's going to be an intimate group, 40, 50 people, and they know they're going to get maybe even a little FaceTime and a book signed and a photograph and so forth. You're
and
going
they're
to like
on
to,
board, right?
well,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
it's
for
part of the
most part.
picture. It's part of the picture.
Yeah.
But the RSVP part of major entertainment events is the most important part. I used to take it on for my clients when I saw that their internal people weren't working hard enough at it.
Yeah, so
And I
you would
would
just
know
get
that
them.
if they didn't get their best people there, they weren't going to renew the event.
No.
So we took it on, even though
Yeah.
it wasn't really our function, but we said, who are the people you want there? And let us have a crack
Yeah,
at the
get them
RSVP
there.
process,
Get
and we'll
them,
follow up,
yeah.
and we'll drive attendance for you. And that was a very valuable service that we added
Yeah.
along the way when we realized its importance.
I heard the Clintons were notoriously late.
Well,
I mean, from some people, who people are, I don't know, but even watching them get to an event and you're watching CNN or something, and it's it's 35 minutes, it's 40
well,
minutes.
he
and
has
you-
a reputation of being
Yeah,
late
you
too,
can't.
which is the problem.
You
But,
can't
yeah.
do that. But I know that there's. You're going to have to help me out here because there's too many great stories. So let me. Do you want to just? You want to talk about someone, or do you have someone in mind? My America's Cup. That's wonderful. Right?
Well, that's another CEO story, and it's a
That's
pretty
a
good
CEO
one.
story.
Yeah, it's another example. It's another example.
us about something that, like, here's Henry Kissinger. I mean, look, these are the people. These are the people that you met and worked with. So this is a little short.
Yeah, I can tell you the
yeah,
little
Henry
interaction with
Kissinger.
Kissinger. Yeah, he came to one of my events, and we had nice conversation, and then he asked for a tour of the garden. This is Madison Square Garden. I was happy to try, walk him around with his wife. And as we were walking, someone who worked in my company interrupted us and asked me something. Now, if it was very, very important, you interrupt me if I'm with Henry Kissinger,
Yes.
but it better be very important,
Yeah, right.
right? Well, it wasn't.
Henry Kissinger.
And not only wasn't it important enough to interrupt me, but he didn't even understand my answer, and he asked me again. And Kissinger, after the fellow left, saw my impatience, and he says to me, Bill, you can explain things to people, but you cannot understand for them.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
How about that?
That's pretty good.
How about that?
You can
He's
explain
barely
things to people.
understandable.
You can
When
explain things to people, but you cannot
but you-
understand for them.
You can't understand
Pretty
for
good,
them.
yeah. Now, the other story that you were asking about, the America's Cup,
Yeah.
another corporate event, another CEO. This guy
Yeah,
was
but
a
don't
big...
make it sound like, oh, another
Well,
corporate.
no,
It's
but I'm just
wonderful. This
winding
is
into it.
wonderful because you go from there to there to there, right?
So this CEO was a sailor, and he wanted to participate, not as a participant, not as a competitor, but he wanted to go and entertain at the America's Cup. At the time, I'm forgetting what year it was but it was in San Diego. And this is something we do, you know what I mean? We can arrange all those things, and his guest, we'd get a viewing boat, and they'd be out on the water, and we'd give them binoculars, and they can see the race, and so forth. Anyway, in my discussions with him, he says to me, but I've been to America's Cup events before, and I'm a great sailor, and I do a lot of sailing, and I don't want to have to look through binoculars. I want to be inside the ropes. Again, the CEO syndrome, you know what I mean? They're used to people
Yeah.
accomplishing the impossible. So I say to him, well, no, I mean, I can't get you inside the ropes. That's where the competitors are. That's where the race is.
Yeah, that's it.
We can get you a whole viewing boat. We can get you a part of a viewing boat. But no, you're gonna be outside the ropes. He says, sorry. He says, that's not adequate. He says, you'll figure it out. He says, I'll talk to you later in the week. He throws me out of his office. And don't you know that there is one boat that is inside the ropes that's not the competitor's boat. It's the TV boat.
Oh.
And I know the head of the TV boat production. And I get the impossible done and get my guy on his boat. But he says to me, he says, this is a terrible idea, Bill. This is Gary Jobson who was running the boat. He says, we're going 11 miles out in the ocean like this. We got a little TV skiff, 25 feet. He said, we're going to get pounded all the way out. He says, we're going to be out there for 10 or 12 hours.
Wow.
I'm going to be going in and out like this all the time. He said, your guy is going to be miserable. I don't care what he tells you about how experienced he is. If he gets sick on my boat, I'm going to be very angry. He says, and I'm not going to have any time. I'm not going to have any food for him. I'm not going to even have a bottle of water for him.
Wow.
So
Okay.
talk him out of it.
Talk him out of it.
Well,
Talk him
if I
out.
could have talked him out of it, it wouldn't be in the book, right? I go back. I give him all these disclaimers. I tell him he ought to reconsider. He says, are you kidding me? You get this done and you think I'm not going to do this now? Are you crazy? He says, when and where? I said, okay. 2 days later, I pick him up at 6 a.m. in the morning, bring him down to the dock, introduce him to the crew. He says to them, Bill's told me everything. He told me I brought my little lunch and my water, and he says, just tell me where to sit.
Dramamine.
Forget I'm here.
Okay.
I know you're not going to have any time to talk or nothing. It's okay. I understand. They put him where they want him. They go off. 12 hours later, I'm back at the dock. They're coming in. The guy in charge, who had done me the favors, got a smile on his face from here to here. My guy is green. Green.
Like the color of the book.
Yeah.
I can imagine.
And he limps off the boat,
Oh.
almost falls into my arm, whispers to me, "The worst day of my life."
Yeah. Did you have
Well, I
your
didn't have to
lunch?
say
No,
anything.
yeah,
I didn't
no,
have
no.
to say anything.
I would love to know if he ate the lunch.
Oh, I'm sure he ate, but I don't know if he kept it down.
That's funny.
Anyway, so
yeah.
that's
he thought he was
that's the CEO world, and the lesson there is be careful sometimes what you wish for.
What you wish
Because this
for.
guy,
I know.
got
It's
a
like
dose.
those pilots that take people on. They go, "Oh, I'd love to take a ride in the plane," and meanwhile, they come off green.
Yeah.
They're so I'm going to say that the BillGoldstein.com. Now on there, you will find
blogs,
blogs.
videos, the podcasts, some speeches,
and of course
some connections to
the
to
connection
book.
to the book, which you can order from Amazon right now, and you'll be able to read a chapter, but you're going to love it, so you'll order it anyway.
Yeah, you can read a
It's-
chapter on the website.
on the website.
Yeah,
On the website.
yeah.
This is really good, and I would love to get together again. But we are now. It goes too fast. Just goes too fast. So I look forward to seeing you here in the studio. Hopefully outside the studio. Maybe you'll come to the event. But so for now, I look forward to sharing time with Bill Goldstein and other great artists, humorists, writers. All the arts. Welcome to Notes and Notions from the Writing Desk. So I'm going to say, as I always say, remember to take note that the notion of love is universal. Let your love light shine through to everyone you meet. And so, till next time, ciao.
I hear the castanets, they're calling. They have this dance, por favor. And I don't care where we are, as long as I am there with you. 'Cause there's a place in the world for those who say I love you. And if we wish upon a star, we'll never be alone. 'Cause we could travel here and far. We could stay right here at home.